They're calm.
How's everybody doing today? My name is George. I'm here to do your alligator show for today. Now, before we get started, I'd like to ask everybody, please remain seated throughout the whole show. Specifically, though, don't lean up against the glass in case I go through the glass. But I do work with every single alligator you guys see in here. Each one of these guys does at least 1 or 2 shows a day, so they all take turns. None of them get stressed or anything like that. Our biggest one in here, though, his name's JJ. He's at a whopping 10 feet and 400 pounds. Sadly, I can't take him out for a show. Why? Because he's 10 feet, 400 pounds. Can't make him do anything, but he is so big, I do want to put him out to you guys. He's this big guy in the water over here. There's our big guy.
Oh, that's a big guy.
As you can see, he is famous for his blinding speed and aggression. Blinding speed. He's a big old sweetheart. He's really not that bad, and try not to look so visibly disappointed. He didn't rip off my arms, guys. Come on. He's so big, though, people often ask us, how old is he, or how old is that one, or that one? And the truth is, we got no idea. There's no way to tell the age of an alligator by simply looking. No size or measurement will tell you. So that's why I'm here. We cut him in half and count the rings. It's a live show full of horrible jokes, guys. You're going to have to work through the pain with me here. It gets way worse. But like I said, there's no way to tell their age. Their size is entirely dependent upon diet and environmental factors, not how old they are. So he could literally be 20 or 75. You'd have no idea by looking. And some records in captivity claim to have alligators over 100 years old. So they're very long-lived, meaning they're more likely to see you later. Alligator. But in here, we feed them raw chicken and other kinds of meat. Out in the wild, they're what you call an opportunistic hunter. They will eat anything from raccoons, turtles, fish, birds, deer, and of course their favorite, tourists. Yay! Which again, guys, there's over 1 million gators out in the state of Florida alone. If they really wanted to eat people, we'd have people dying every day. We have 4 people killed annually by vending machines and by alligators. And that's not a bad joke or a punchline. Guy gets angry, Katie bar, shakes the machine, falls down and crushes it. More often than people get killed by these things, which says everything you need to know about alligator aggressiveness and human intelligence. Speaking of, I'm going to grab an alligator for you guys. And what's the good thing about that is, they all have turns, so all of the guys on land have kind of already done some. Some of them went in the water. I have to know who's who. I don't want to use the same alligator like 3 times because then they're going to get stressed out. So it's this guy's turn. But what's cool about this guy is that he's new. And since he's new, they can be a little squirrely sometimes. He's also a little skinnier. Ask him to scooch out of the way. Now, usually in a big gator that's around as big as I am. People clap. Cheers. Anybody out there clap? All right. Let's look inside of his mouth. There are 80 teeth in there, guys. 40 on the top, 40 on the bottom. Now, they can actually break their teeth off, rub them back, and they cycle through several thousand teeth in a lifetime. That comes in handy because of how hard they bite. A large alligator can bite down with an entire ton of force within his mouth, 2,000 pounds per square inch of power. Some of y'all don't look impressed with that number. Think about it, 2,000 pounds. That's enough power there to snap any bone in your weak, fragile, and frankly pathetic human body and crush your skull like a potato chip. If you're still not impressed, that's because y'all are on the wrong side of the glass. Now, even though he can bite down so hard, you can keep his mouth shut with your bare hands, as you see me doing right now. All that power is for closing, very little for opening, so if you're ever about to be attacked by an alligator, just turn around, grab the jaws, you'll do great. You're going to want to run for your life, guys. But we do have all of these alligators in here for a reason, though. We're actually an alligator rescue, and these are all considered to be rescue nuisance gators. Now, a nuisance gator is one that shows up in a backyard, swimming pool, eating fluffy, stuff like that, right? Now, once when an alligator eats somebody's dog, the state of Florida will send out an alligator trapper to capture and kill the gator. Unless that dog was a Pomeranian, they'll let that one go. It's fine. No worries. It's really sad, though. The state of Florida does kill over 8,000 nuisance gators a year, which is not their fault. It's usually a nuisance person that causes the problem. And by that, I mean people that feed them. Once you feed him, he learns to associate people with food. You don't got the food. You are the food. That's why it's against the law to feed these guys. So what we do here is we do shows with these nuisance gators instead of killing them and turning them into a pair of boots, which he appreciates, right? If they were not here with us, and we're very fortunate enough to work with one of the only committed non-kill gator trappers around. I work under him and rescue these guys at people's backyards myself. One of them was caught at 4 in the morning on someone's front doorstep. Imagine you're up early for work, you open your front door and surprise, this guy's sitting on your welcome mat. Literally what happened. Now the gator was promptly rescued. Again, I say the word rescue because if a different trapper showed up, they just shoot the poor alligator and that's that. Reasoning behind that is, as nuisance gator trappers, you don't get paid to capture the gator. The gator itself is the payment. Why? Because if the state of Florida paid you when he ripped your arm off, you can sue the state for liability. So instead of, no. We're not paying you crazy people. Your payment is the body of the gator, thereby incentivizing other trappers to kill them to sell the meat and the hide. That's why the group that I work with are the only ones dumb enough to work for free. We volunteer our time unpaid to rescue them out of people's backyards and swimming pools instead of killing them for a profit, and we've rescued over 500 nuisance gators over the past several years. Now how it works in here, whenever we get one from someone's backyard, they'll stay here for a little bit. We'll determine whether or not that individual alligator has the right personality to be able to do shows. If they do, we keep them, train them, then send them home one out to another sanctuary. So it's like a revolving door in here. They don't stay here forever. The state, though, sadly does not allow the release or relocation of nuisance gators back out into the wild due to their homing ability. What that means is if I were to take this guy, drop him off 100 miles out into the middle of nowhere, give him a couple months, he can wind up in the very same backyard he was caught from. They use the Earth's magnetic field to find their way, and that's why they're recognized as such amazing navigators. Alligator. Don't worry, the rest of you will get in a couple minutes. Now, alligator wrestling is not like real wrestling. I do not hurt, headlock, or body slam a poor animal. They are techniques used by the native tribes of Florida. One of those maneuvers was holding the jaws shut between your chin and your chest, allowing your hands to be free to take out a rope to tie the jaws shut so you can take the animal back alive to camp. For you guys, though, it's for your entertainment, and it makes a cool-looking photo. I'm going to give you a thumbs up to the side like this. If anything goes horrifically wrong, switch your camera from photo to video. Now let's see. If you're a good boy, at the end of the show, I'll get you a nice chihuahua. He loves these guys. Ta-da! Thank you so much for that unprompted enthusiasm, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Now for the biggest question we get asked all day, though, is why aren't they all attacking me? Why aren't they more aggressive? How am I still alive? And why do y'all look so disappointed I'm still alive? The number one thing you're probably thinking is, you just fed him, that's why he's so calm. But if you're thinking that right now, you're the first person to die. Feeding them doesn't make them calm and happy, it creates a feeding frenzy. It is the last thing we do for the day, then we go home. We don't come back in here because we're all going nuts. A lot of people think to themselves, I feed my dog, he loves me. Why would it be the same? Does that look like your dog? He does not think or act like your dog. He sees you as the food. You bring food with you, that's a buy one, get one free. The other one is, though, he's sedated. That's why you still have your arms. You can't do that to these guys. They're what you call a conscious breather. He has to physically think about every breath he takes. You guys are unconscious breathers. You're breathing right now without even thinking about it. So if he's under the influence, he's not breathing properly because he's not thinking properly and you die. So if we ever have to take one to the vet, we got to hook him up to an intubation machine which breathes for him. That also means alligators don't sleep. They are unihemispheric sleepers. They shut off one side of their brain throughout the day, and that's their version of rest. So they are all awake 24/7 for the rest of their existence, waiting for an opportunity. Some of them might have their eyes closed, but they are 100% conscious, and that's how they're really good at catching things when you're not paying attention. Now, guys, does that make them... Oh, sorry. Now, the main reason, though, when they first come in from the wild, they don't act like this. He's going to try to kill me with everything that he has because he thinks I'm going to kill him. And he is going to defend himself out of fear. Once he realizes that I'm not going to hurt him and we do an animal-friendly show, he's a lot more calm, relaxed. He's tolerating a lot of this because he knows I'm no threat. But they do know that we're the guys that do the show. So when they do try to mess with one of us, we make them do it instead. That's how you're able to see me walking around. They keep their heads down. They're like, bro, don't pick me. Don't. Absolutely not. They only respect me so much if they have reason to. I prove to every single one of these animals that I am food that's hard to get. They first come in from the wild, they're terrified, they got abducted by aliens. They got no idea what's going on. After a while, they'll be like, alright, these things aren't that bad, maybe I can eat them. And then they're going to try to eat you like 10 times. And then you have to stop them every single time. And then after a while, they're like, it's not worth the trouble. But if that food that was hard to get, if I were to, becomes easy to get, if I were to trip and fall, hand slips, if they think they can creep up on me, they'll totally go for it. That guy right there literally tried to sneak up behind me and pull me off of another gator while my mom was in the crowd. And if it wasn't for everybody pulling up their phones, like, yeah, he's gonna die, I would have had the cue to look behind me. So again, guys, there's no bond, there's no friendship. They totally would 100% rip my leg off, eat it in front of me, and not think twice or feel bad about it because he's an alligator. Not a Labrador. There's never a bond. There's never a friendship. They're not my pets, guys. I love them. They don't love me. They do bite. That guy right there bit our old boss before twice, and one other guy. That's why he's our favorite. He's a good boy. Now wrap on the alligator's eyes are their ears. You can see their ears, their nostrils. For these people on this side, the ears right over here. Their nostrils and the back of their throat. Although they live underwater, they don't breathe underwater, but can't hold this breath for an amazing 6 hours at a time. The most important thing I can tell you about these awesome animals, guys, is there's a reason to keep them around. People will run them over and kill them, thinking that they're out to get people, which is not the case. Here in the Everglades, during our dry season, there will be some sections of Everglades that have no water in them whatsoever. So in preparation for the dry season, an alligator will dig a pond for itself called the gator hole. That will be the last place of survival for fish, for a huge surrounding area. In turn, for the land animals, that will turn into an oasis for them to drink water and eat the fish that have collected there. Over a longer period of time, birds will come, eat the fish, poop out seeds, those plants will grow, then die, then you have soil form, and then an entire tree island will be created from a single alligator digging a hole for itself, which is why they're called guardians of the Everglades, because without them it would almost be impossible to survive out there. Now, before I do my last trick, let me tell you a little bit about myself. You don't think I'm some nut job, I know how it looks. I'm currently pursuing an environmental studies degree over at MDC, and it's always been a dream of mine to work with animals and of course teach people about them. I really do hope every single one of you here leave with a newfound respect for these awesome and misunderstood creatures. Only downside though to working here, it's very dangerous. And due to the danger factor, I am technically not an employee of the park. That way I'm not under insurance. That way if he does rip off my hand, I get a get well soon card and kick out the door. Literally the healthcare plan here. Due to liability, I'm an unpaid volunteer doing the show for free, so if you guys enjoy the show, have fun, learn about gators, like the fact that we are rescue and we go out and save these guys. We really appreciate anything that goes in a little tip jar / hand replacement fund at the end. And now for the not so fun part, guys. Don't try this on your own. I am calm and comfortable around the animals now because it's safe. I've received proper training and I am what you call desensitized and mentally unstable. It does take one slip, you can lose life or limb. I'm lucky I haven't had any bad accidents yet. I've had some crazy close calls. I've been shaking so hard that they've knocked the headset off of my body. One of the gators popped my grip, came back around, his open mouth hit the palm of my hand. If it was a little bit lower, it would have went right inside of his mouth and would have ripped it right off. I've had some friends that did. One got bit in the hand during a show, gator shook, death rolled, snapped his arm in half. Another one got bit in the upper arm, gator threw him off of its back, death rolled, tore his bicep muscle off the bone, ate a chunk of his arm, and he almost bled out and died. Now, I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I'm not trying to scare you guys. I don't want you to be afraid of them, but I know it can make it look so easy, and I make a dumb joke, a bunch of dumb jokes. People forget they're powerful apex predators. Never try this or approach it, but as you can see, they're not out to get you. They're not going to sprint and chase you down. That zigzag thing's a complete lie. They're a bunch of lazy bums. But when you feed them, swim in their habitat, or try to touch them, that's how you get hurt or killed. If you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Now, for our last trick. Our last trick is called the face-off. It's called the face-off because if I mess up, my face comes off. You have to have the dark sense of humor to work here, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the jaws, balance my chin on the edge of the open jaw. If anything touches the side of his mouth, they slam shut because it's a reflex. Nothing stops the jaws from closing. And if you look at him, it looks like he's chubby. That's not fat, that's his jaw muscle. He's got like 10 pounds of muscle, hardly for closing his mouth. A big guy like JJ can have over 50. Now let's see, what are you going to do? I move my weight around, next thing you know, you're always trying to bite me. So he's actively trying to pop my grip and bite me in the hand. And I don't know if you saw a little bit earlier during the show after I did the bulldog. That right there, when he made that gap form, that's me holding entirely with all the strength in my hand. And a lot of the time it takes both hands to keep it shut. So it's a lot stronger than some people give it credit for. Now let's see. What you gonna do? Chill out there, little guy. Come on. Little guy is like 7.5 feet. This part's pretty dangerous, by the way. I'd like some motivation before I get my face ripped off. literally going to lay there for the next 3 hours. For you guys though, we're going to take out a baby gator and some other cool animals to check out. If you have any questions for me, I'll be sending this to Team Blue about the tip trick card, remote cash out, whatever. You guys enjoy the show now.
The two biggest alligators, and it's right behind you. That's one big one, and the other one over there. One you said is